Our top story tonight. A day after the Shiv Sena staged an audacious ink strike on former Atal Bihari aide Sudhindra Kulkarni, the party has turned even more belligerent. While Sena chief Uddhav Thackeray today met and honoured the attackers, the party equated Kulkarni with Pakistan terrorist Ajmal Kasab. The BJP ally may now even be preparing to exit the Fadnavis government in Maharashtra, terming the chief minister soft on Pakistan.
The BJP is at war with a party that has been its ally for 3 decades. And this time the Shiv Sena has ink on its hands, blackening out the face of an eminent author in protest against a book launched by a former Pakistani author. A day after Shiv Sena's actions tainted free speech, the right-wing group stood its ground.
Far from reprimanding its errant leaders, Shiv Sena High Command today praised those who bolted the face of author with ink on Monday. Shiv Sena chief Uddhav Thackeray met 6 goons of Shiv Sena today at his residence.
After the ink assault came Shiv Sena's attack in print, with the party labelling Sudhindra Kulkarni an agent of Islamabad in its mouthpiece Samna.
It is their freedom of expression that they are practicing. I expect the Shiv Sena to respect others' freedom of expression.
But the former Advani aide wasn't the only target of the resurgent Shiv Sena. The party also trained its guns on the chief minister.
अगर इस्तीफा किसी को देना है, हमारे वजह से तो वो लोग दीजिए. सरकार दोनों की है.
The BJP stood its ground, refusing to be swayed by its allies' theatrics, even as the pressure mounted from the opposition.
Shiv Sena's concerned, they are entitled to agitate. We would only appeal that the agitation should be in a legitimate way, because we have to endorse that Maharashtra is a progressive state and not a banana republic.
The BJP's oldest ally even faced flack from its newest, the PDP, who accused the Sena of living in a fool's paradise. Last week, the Shiv Sena's din drowned out a Pakistani maestro's voice, and now they are targeting free speech. Will the posturing result in a walkout from the alliance? Bureau Report for India Today.
What exactly is the Shiv Sena's game plan? Sahil Joshi now joining me at the moment. Sahil, we are told the Shiv Sena is already contesting the forthcoming local elections on their own. Are we to understand that they are in some way muscle flexing, but will not take the ultimate step of actually withdrawing support to this government? So they are waiting for the BJP to make the next step.
It's very clear from Shiv Sena's, what can be Shiv Sena's motive behind the whole episode which happened in last 2 days in Mumbai. It's clear that Shiv Sena and BJP are going to contest the local municipal elections separately. Even in 2017, the upcoming BMC elections, it doesn't look like that the Shiv Sena BJP will be able to arrive at any kind of conclusion where they will be able to contest it together. So now it's very clear that the Shiv Sena is taking a hardened stand, especially on the issues on which even BJP used to have the same kind of a stand when BJP was in opposition. So Shiv Sena is trying to play the dual role. One way they are supporting the government, they are part of the government, and on the other hand they are also playing the role of the opposition. And but it's very clear that Shiv Sena leaders are speech tigers. I mean, today we tried to ask to all the ministers in the Maharashtra cabinet what will be their stand, because yesterday Chief Minister clearly said that what Shiv Sena has done has tarnished state's image. So after that, will they continue in Fadnavis cabinet after Chief Minister's clear remark on Shiv Sena's what Shiv Sena did 2 days before? So none of the ministers was ready to come on the camera. Sanjay Raut, who is not a minister, is making such kind of remarks, saying that the Chief Minister, he himself is a pro-Pakistani, and if someone wants to resign, the BJP minister should resign. So he is making all the comments because he is not in the cabinet. He is not even a minister.
Right.
He's just a member of parliament. So the people who are not in power are making such kind of remarks. The people who are in power do not want to live and get back.
So you believe that the Shiv Sena, very quickly, you believe the Shiv Sena won't split from the BJP just yet, but will keep the heat on the Shiv Sena, at least on the BJP, till the municipal elections in Mumbai in February 2017. So for the next 15 months, you expect more such incidents. Am I correct?
Absolutely. In fact, this has happened earlier as well when Balasaheb Thackeray was leading Shiv Sena. Even that time, he used to make speeches against Lal Krishna Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but they never took back their support from the Vajpayee government. They continued in the same government, but despite that, played the role of opposition as well. And the same thing is happening in Maharashtra. So such kind of things we will see in next 2 years as well. In fact, till the time the Shiv Sena BJP government is going to be in power in Maharashtra, we will see that the Shiv Sena will keep taking such kind of stands so that the BJP to embarrass the Chief Minister and the BJP government in Maharashtra as well as in the centre.
Okay, we're going to leave it there, Sahil Joshi. So clearly, the Shiv Sena is now going to try to establish or re-establish its independent identity. More such scenes of the disgraceful scenes that we saw in Mumbai could be repeated. Now, most celebrities have so far remained silent on the Shiv Sena's strong-arm tactics in Mumbai. You don't hear, barring the usual suspects, the Shabana Azmis, this time Rishi Kapoor, most other celebrities silent. Actor Anupam Kher, in fact, has actually targeted a section of the media, including me, of being selective while covering the ink-throwing incident. In a series of tweets, Anupam Kher said, and I quote now, "I chose to use insensitive expression to justify my attempt of trying to be a messiah of truth," and he has accused us of not doing enough to highlight the case of Kashmiri Pandits. So why are Mumbai's celebrities silent even as the Shiv Sena takes the law into its own hands? Joining me now is actor Anupam Kher, who, far from criticizing the Shiv Sena, has actually attacked the so-called secular media, including me, your anchor, by suggesting that we are guilty of selective outrage. Mr. Anupam Kher, I know we had a Twitter war yesterday and I'm putting up some of those tweets, but the fact is that instead of attacking or questioning the manner in which the Shiv Sena takes the law into their own hands, you seem to suggest that we in the media are guilty of selective outrage. Can you please tell us, why are you targeting the messenger?
You are, Rajdeep, you are very selective in your targeting issues. You have problems with the government, you have problems with Modi. I can see that, I can feel that. We are on Twitter for a long time. I've heard you at a number of places. So you are biased about certain things. I can see that.
No, hold on. Let's start. Mr. Kher, let's start.
You asked me a question, let me answer.
Okay,
you asked me a question, so let me answer that. And once I finish answering that, you said it's a debate, it's not an interview.
Okay, go
ahead. That's what you sent me a message and that's what you wrote on Twitter.
Yes.
So let's have a debate rather than you asking me a question and putting me on a defensive foot by introducing me in such a manner.
Right.
So there are biases. I think anybody who votes as a secret ballot does vote for a particular party. Okay, so we obviously have our own favorites, whether it's Congress, whether it's BJP, whether it's BSP or anybody. So we in our mind know that I'm voting for this party, so I can be biased towards that party. So I'm not holding that against you. Just because I did not react to the blackening of the face, or just because for so many various reasons I did not put it on Twitter, does not mean that I did not condemn it. You are waiting for me to condemn it and then sort of think, oh, he is also of our clan.
No, why didn't you publicly condemn it? Why didn't you, Anupam Kher, publicly condemn the manner in which a political party that is ruling Maharashtra in alliance with the BJP goes ahead, takes the law into its own hands and blackens someone's face? As an artist, I would have expected you to do that. When Ghulam Ali's concert is cancelled, when a book release is sought to be stopped, shouldn't you have acted there instead of then suggesting that the media is guilty of selective outrage? And why don't you raise the issue of Kashmiri Pandits? Why not focus on what happened yesterday?
I can give you 100 of examples. I can give you 100 of examples, Rajdeep, where you have not spoken about it. Have you ever asked you a question yesterday? Have you shown your outrage about the mass murder and exodus of Kashmiri Pandits in 1990 till today? Have you gone on debates? Have you sort of felt so bad about it? Have you did that? But did I hold that against you?
Sir, we have done programs, we have done news stories in the 1990s, and you know as well as I do that as a result of Kashmiri militants, yes, what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits is tragic. But let's also not forget that many Kashmiri Muslims also died. Are we going to decide outrage based on community, your Pandits versus somebody else's Muslims?
You are making it yourself that you have a problem with Mr. Modi or his government. Aren't you outspoken about it?
No,
you camouflage
why are we
it in
bringing
your
Mr.
articles
Modi?
beautifully.
Sir, why are we bringing Mr. Modi? My point is, yesterday was the day to express what happened to Sudhindra Kulkarni. Why bring Kashmiri Pandits into it?
On your show, I think it should have not happened. Is that okay? It should have not happened, but I am not a news channel where I don't have to sort of leave my shooting and say, okay, this has happened, so I must immediately think, otherwise Rajdeep will hold me responsible for not talking about it. I'm not a news channel, you are a news channel, so you can talk about it, and your bread and butter is on the news that is created around this. But the problem is, why I brought Mr. Modi, the problem is that there are certain section of people who are hell-bent upon embarrassing him, who are hell-bent upon making him feel that,
Sir,
oh, this is not the best thing that has happened.
Why did I embarrass? Shiv Sena embarrassed him. How can you blame me? Sir, I'm not able to understand why are you bringing Narendra Modi and suggesting we are biased. If we question the way the Shiv Sena acts in Mumbai, where does Narendra Modi come in?
Rajdeep, please at least be truthful about it. Do you like Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of this country? I'm asking you, do you like Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a person and as the Prime Minister of this country? I'm asking you point blank.
I respect my Prime Minister. I respect the fact that the people of the country have chosen him as the Prime Minister of the country. And thereby I will give him the respect that he deserves as the Prime Minister of the country.
No,
I will question him if he goes wrong. I have every right to praise him if he does something right. I have a right to question him.
How many times did you question Manmohan Singh?
Of course we did.
How many times did you question Manmohan Singh?
No, this is my point. No.
How many times?
Several times, sir. No Prime Minister has received the kind of bad press that Manmohan Singh got, sir, between 2009 and 2014. That's a matter of record. I can bring you number of debates. We have called him Dhritarashtra and worse.
Maybe unfortunately at that time, maybe he was involved in a lot of things which were happening in the government, so he was directly or indirectly responsible. I think Manmohan ji is personally I feel that he is a very honest person. My point is that your bias shows. Unfortunately.
Sir, can I come back to your anchor? Sir, you say my bias.
No, your problem is you want to I am telling you from the root cause of the problem. You want to put it to Ghulam Ali and you want to put it to Sudhindra Kulkarni so that, and you are saying that why did I not react? Of course I reacted. I think Ghulam Ali is a fantastic singer and art has no boundaries. I have said it in so many platforms. But if I did not tweet about it, that doesn't mean I am taking a diplomatic silence about it.
So I want to ask you, are we entering an age of selective outrage? No, sir, just a minute. Are we entering an age of selective outrage where if I don't speak about Kashmiri Pandits, you will call me biased, possibly biased against Hindus, which is terrible, I think, which is a terrible accusation to make. If you don't outrage about Ghulam Ali or Sudhindra Kulkarni, or even when a Kashmiri Muslim is killed, someone else will say Anupam Kher only focuses on Kashmiri Pandits. What kind of society are we heading towards?
No. In my case, you cannot say. In my case, you cannot say that. When the Peshawar school killing happened, I wrote an open letter to the terrorist. I had the guts to write an open letter to the terrorist for the innocents being killed in the school. So you cannot tell me about that. I have absolutely written to it, which was published, and every Pakistani who meets me thanks me. And I said to them, there is nothing to thank me. I felt the outrage. I have great respect for Ghulam Ali, and I have great respect for anybody else who wants, because India is a very liberal country. So many Pakistani actors work here. So many people, including the Shiv Senics or BJP or Congress people, watch their movies become blockbusters.
And yet the fact is the Shiv Sena, which is an important ally of the BJP, targets Pakistanis.
But look, I have nothing to do with Shiv Sena or neither nothing to do with that. Kiran is a BJP MP, has nothing to do with me, point. But what is your answer to the fact that Pakistani actors work in our movies and nobody has shown any outrage? Their films become super hits. There's a channel called Zindagi Channel which only shows Pakistani serials.
Sir, that's
and
a positive sign.
My mother loves those things.
Sir, that's a positive sign. My point is, therefore, when the darker side comes, like yesterday when someone's face is blackened, I as a journalist will raise it. I raised an issue on Twitter, sir, which troubled you, saying how many Shiv Sainiks have gone to Kashmir to actually condole with the widows of Jawans, or have gone to the border to condole with our soldiers who are fighting the terrorists, and you said we are being insensitive. I was only exposing the double standards of those who claim they have monopoly over Desh Bhakti. How can you call that insensitive?
But I'm exposing your double standards, Rajdeep. I'm exposing your double standards.
Where? Please give me an example.
My point to you is, Rajdeep,
please give me one example of a double standard. I'll accept it.
The point, example is, how many times have you gone to Jammu and Kashmir refugee camps to show your solidarity with those refugees who are homeless in their own country? How many times have you done?
Sir, as a journalist, I covered the story in the 1990s. The fact also is, and I want to point this out to you, sometimes,
as an actor,
sir, what happened to Kashmiri Pandits is terrible. Sir, Kashmiri Pandits, what has happened is terrible, but please let us not forget, in the militancy, Hindus and Muslims both have suffered.
Terrible is the...
You only seem to look at Kashmiri Pandits.
Terrible is a very, very selective... Terrible is... No. It is not only Kashmiri Pandits, it's all over the place. It's everywhere, wherever that has happened. Not only Kashmiri Pandits, but because Kashmiri Pandit cause is very close to me, because my own relatives, my own uncles, my own aunts, my own people were molested, brutally murdered and raped. And I am directly involved in that. That's why I keep bringing it. A lot of people on Twitter say, "Inko kuch yaad nahi aata, to Kashmiri Pandit ke baare mein bolte hain." Of course I will speak about it. If in your family, or God forbid in my family, somebody attacks me, some padosi attacks you in your own family, says something nasty about Sagrika, says something nasty about son, about your daughter, will you invite them for a cup of tea and say, let's not break the fabric of Indian cultural this thing? The fabric has not broken. You mean to say that these problems have happened only in the last 18 years, 18 months? Haven't these problems been there? We've lived with it and we've survived it. That is the Indian spirit of survival.
Sir, can I ask you one small question?
Point is,
why is it, what is your definition of secularism? What is your definition of secularism?
My definition of secularism is that all of us live in this country together.
As equal citizens.
We have been living in this country for the last 68 years. As equal citizens. Absolutely. As equal citizens.
Right. So therefore, will an Anupam, so therefore when Gujarat 2002 happens, or 92, 93 Mumbai happens, or 84 anti-Sikh riots happen, should all of us not look at it and look inwards and introspect and ask ourselves, what is it that leads people of one religion to kill people of another? And if I raise it, am I guilty of double standards?
Of course. But does it? No, of course we should. Of course it is happening all over the world. Do you think it's only happening in India? Unfortunately, we live in the times of terrorism. Unfortunately, the terrorism and the killings are also incited by people. Unfortunately, the social media, with the greatest power can give you, it also can sort of create problems.
It is spreading hate.
But to sort of say that, okay, this is happening. You see, the point is, today, today I feel frightened of calling myself a Hindu, because the moment I say Hindu, oh, this must be an RSS guy. This is a Hindu fanatic. In my own country, I am made to feel defensive about that.
When today, as you saw in Akhlaq's killing someone...
If we love tigers...
Sir, I am proud to be a Hindu, but I am ashamed also if someone is killed because he has stored beef in his house. You know and I know, or allegedly stored. A rumor is spread and someone is killed. Isn't that a moment to be ashamed of? Is that the Hinduism we want to see? And if I criticize that, what is wrong?
Absolutely, we do not... I totally agree. Absolutely, I am ashamed of such incidents. I am ashamed of such incidents, and I will constantly say that it's very sad that that has happened.
So you accept that is not acceptable. Those who talk of a Hindu Rashtra.
Absolutely, how can it be?
Are we a Hindu Rashtra?
As a civilized Indian,
are we a Hindu Rashtra, Mr. Kher?
We are a democracy, the largest democracy in the world.
So we are not a Hindu Rashtra.
In democracy, you cannot say Hindu Rashtra or other. We are a democracy. We are a democratically elected government.
Right.
We are not a Hindu Rashtra. How can you be only a Hindu Rashtra?
So if someone says that they want a Hindu Rashtra and I oppose that, am I guilty of double standards and bias? Will Anupam Kher next time tweet saying Rajdeep Sardesai only targets Hindus?
No,
I am against all fundamentalism.
I will not say that.
I am against all fundamentalism, Islamic or Hindu.
But you are sitting, but Rajdeep, you are sitting on a pedestal and saying that. That I am against again. Why are you saying that like that?
No, because you seem to be
every Indian feels that way.
You seem to be targeting, as I said, the media. Let me ask you one final question. Do you think more celebrities like yourself should actually be speaking out when something like what happened in Mumbai yesterday? I know you said that you don't have to tweet every time, but my point is, I fear there is a silence, particularly when the Shiv Sena is involved, because many of you are scared and intimidated by the Shiv Sena in Mumbai. Is that true?
No, I think Rajdeep, I loved Aditya Thackeray's letter to you. If you actually are not biased about it, I think you should appreciate the letter that you wrote.
I appreciate it. I replied back.
Okay, I think you should.
Are you saying that throwing ink, Aditya Thackeray in that letter, sir, says throwing ink is not a violent act? Do you really believe that? Throwing ink is not a violent act? He calls it democratic and historic.
No. You're just selecting only one part of that letter. He also wrote 3 pages of why there is an outrage sometimes.
Are you justifying endorsing violence?
Don't pick up one line.
For God's sake, sir, how can you justify or endorse violence?
Not at all.
Can you fight terror by throwing ink at someone?
Now you have to next. No, you are putting. I did not. Did I in this whole interview?
No, Aditya Thackeray says that. He says the blood of our innocent, blood of our soldiers. What is it if we spill some ink?
But do you think, I'm asking you, do you think it's fine that our soldiers are killed on the front?
Of course not. I'm saying zero tolerance for terror. Why take it out on Sudhindra Kulkarni or on Kasuri? Take it out on the terrorists. Take it out on the army of Pakistan. That's my point.
Have you released your book in Pakistan?
I would love to. If someone called me, I would love to.
Have you been invited to Pakistan?
I have not been invited. The day they invite me, I'll happily go.
I wanted to go to play, do my play. No. Let me just inform you officially over here. I have wanted to go to Pakistan 5 times to do my play over there. Out of which 2 times it was finalized. One time it was finalized by the Dawn newspaper, and both the times I was denied entry. But did that stop me from praising the things that happened there? Did it stop me from writing a letter for Peshawar school killing? No, I did not. That's their point of view, that they don't want me to come there. Did it stop me from working with any of the Pakistani actors? Did my Pakistani actors who work with me have ever felt that I showed a bias? No, I did not.
So you believe that tali do haath se bachti hai. Effectively, that's what you're saying. Therefore, in your view, if we are going to receive the Kasuris of the world, if we are going to receive the Ghulam Alis, then Anupam Kher must also be received with the same hospitality. Is that right?
No, it's not important. Anupam Kher is denied visa twice, doesn't matter, it's all right. That's their country's policy. But Ghulam Ali has performed here so many times. So many times. And people like the whole world, especially the film industry, has really welcomed them with open arms. And they come here on a commercial basis. They don't come. I've never seen any of these people, with all due respect to them, to come. Okay, there is a hospital being made in charity for the children or something. Or they are singing for that. It's a commercial this thing. And why not? And I love Ghulam Ali Saab and something. Sorry.
I will ask you therefore in conclusion, would you be ready tomorrow for a co-production, theatre production with Pakistanis? Put it out, and if the Shiv Sena tries to stop it, will you take them on?
I will, if that comes to that, I will take them on, and I don't think they will stop me from that.
Okay.
I don't think they will stop me from that.
We will wait and see if they will. Maybe that's the clout that you have over the Shiv Sena that many others perhaps will not have. But Anupam Kher,
that is not the clout. That is the honesty. That is the honesty of a patriotic Indian that I have.
It's the honesty of patriotic Indian. That's, as I said, sir. Nobody has a monopoly on patriotism. Neither you nor I. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. I also believe I'm a patriotic Indian. You also believe you're a patriotic Indian.
You know, if every Indian personally feels that I have the monopoly on patriotism, we will be a greatest country. There is nothing wrong in having a monopoly on patriotism. You are patriotic in your own manner. I'm patriotic in your own manner.
Okay.
You do it in a subtle manner. Some people do it in a very obvious manner.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Anupam Gain, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. I'm glad you kept up your promise that you would come on to the studio and we would debate our tweets that led to a Twitter war. So much better to discuss this rather than throw ink at each other.
Let's not come this between you and me as two people who don't like each other.
Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much, Anupam Gain. Pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the other big story that we are tracking. The Supreme Court has now asked the centre to come up with a swift decision on the Uniform Civil Code to bring an end to what it says is the continuing confusion over personal laws. The Apex Court told the Solicitor General to seek the government's view, posted the matter for further hearing after 3 weeks. A bench of Justices Vikramjit Sen and Shiva Kirti Singh questioned the government about its mandate on framing the Uniform Civil Code. The Supreme Court backed an equal yardstick for all religions in matters of law. The bench was hearing a petition challenging the legal provision that compels Christian couples to wait for at least 2 years for divorce. Okay, has the time come for a Uniform Civil Code? Is this an idea whose time has come? Joining me now, Abhishek Manu Singhvi of the Congress Party, its spokesperson and member of Parliament. Sambit Patra, national spokesperson BJP. Also in the studio, Saif Mahmood, lawyer in the Supreme Court. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, do you believe that the time has come for a Uniform Civil Code? A time at least for a wider debate and a less polarized and shrill Hindu versus others debate of the kind that we've had in this country in the past?
Rajdeep, let me tell you that a UCC is not a pressing of a button, a destination that you press it today and it appears magically tomorrow. There are 2 or 3 things we forget, and I'll be very brief. Firstly, we forget the advised, deliberate decision of the framers, who according to most of us were much wiser than all of us put together, to not put it in the fundamental rights but in the directive principles as an ideal to be progressed towards. Secondly, by the very act of putting it in the directive principles, of course it is an ideal to which we must always try and approximate. But what is the precondition for that, Rajdeep? The precondition is that there must be broad consensus, not maybe 100%, but broad consensus, a climate of cooperation, consensus, acceptance. Today, is
Mr.
it not
Singhvi,
weird
those are all very fine
that you are
words.
talking?
As
Can I
first
just finish?
principles, those are fine words. Who's going to build that broad consensus? Should the government not take the first step?
I'll tell you.
Your Congress government, when
you didn't allow me to come to the point,
step.
Rajdeep. Rajdeep, you didn't allow me to come to the point. This is the last time, the last moment when you or anybody else should be talking of a UCC. It's bizarre. It's a farce. If the government tries to promote a UCC concept today, you are having a series of Sakshis, Muzaffarnagar, Sangeet Soms, Sudhindra Kulkarni's day after day. Never before in the history of India has there been a most concentrated assault in the last 18 months on divisiveness in our country. And then in the middle of that, you want to talk of even the approach towards the consensus.
It's not me. I am only talking the Supreme Court.
You want to talk of cooperation.
Sir, I have raised this issue because the Supreme Court has raised it.
No.
Why are you blaming me?
1 minute.
Supreme Court has asked the government to come and tell us where it stands on the UCC.
Rajdeep, you are not listening to me.
When
I say you, I don't mean you personally.
Good.
I am saying that the government of India can hardly suggest today, having itself created 90% being responsible, both as the party in power, as the government of India, as a particular party with a particular philosophy, having had in 18 months the most concentrated form of divisive India by multiple incidents, is the last person to be able to go anywhere near creating that atmosphere.
Okay.
I would be happiest if in some time in the future we attain that ideal. But how can you attain the ideal when on the one hand you have such incidents?
Sir,
how can the government watch moral authority, with what practical authority do it?
So when you were in power for years, you all made no step towards it. Now you are saying the BJP is in no position because of the atmosphere created to push ahead.
We did. No, Rajdeep, we did. There were several attempts, but we always desisted when it meant ramming it down your throat without an adequate degree of consensus.
Okay,
we made attempts, we made initiatives. But whenever it came to a situation where I have to ram it down somebody's throat, we desisted. Rightly so.
Can I come to Sambit Patra? Sambit Patra, there is the question that Abhishek Manu Singhvi is raising, saying the atmosphere in this country at the moment is not such where you can even debate the Uniform Civil Code, because it will be seen as an attempt by the government of the day to thrust its view of what it believes should be a Uniform Civil Code in this country, what should be the personal laws of this country at a time when Dr. Singhvi believes that there is a growing majority-minority divide. Do you agree that this is not the right time for a debate on the Uniform Civil Code?
I'm sorry to learn. I mean, though I respected Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi as a great lawyer, but his question is in contradiction to what the Supreme Court feels. Because the Supreme Court feels, contrary to the view of the so-called great lawyer of Congress, that the situation in this country presently is the best situation where the government should in fact bring in the UCC, that is the Uniform Civil Code. None other than the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court asked the government, why don't you implement the UCC? If the Supreme Court would have felt contrary to and in lines with what Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi is suggesting, that the atmosphere is not right, then the Supreme Court would have said so, that the atmosphere is not right. Why a UCC should be brought in? So here you are, Mr. Singhvi, caught red-handed today.
Will the BJP will the BJP, is the BJP therefore going to go ahead with it? Are you going to try and build the consensus?
Yes.
Or are you also, much like when the Congress was in power, say that we are trying to create an atmosphere in the country?
Now give me some time. This is a very serious question which I should deliberate upon in elaboration. Number one, as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party and I being the spokesperson of the party is concerned, here is what our manifesto had to say. BJP believes that there cannot be general equality till such time India adopts a uniform civil code which protects the right of all women, and the BJP reiterates its stand to draft a uniform civil code drawing upon the best traditions and harmonizing them with the modern times. This is what the party says. Now what the government feels, though as a spokesperson I would not be able to preempt what the government would be answering on the court of law 3 weeks from today, but this is what Ravi Shankar Prasad, the law minister then 1 year ago, 29th December, gave a reply in writing to the parliament. The reply was, the government is willing to bring in the Uniform Civil Code in line with the constitutional provision, but only after widespread consultations with all political parties and stakeholders consultation would be required for the step in this regard. It's as clear as that.
Dr. Patra, that was in December. We are now in the month of October. 9 months later, no move has been made. It appears the BJP says all this in the manifesto. Once you're in government, you realize the limitations of trying to impose a uniform civil code. That is the reality. It's a difficult step. A lot of people believe it's, abracadabra, it won't happen. It is going to take time. Saif Mahmood, is there a sense that the minority community is ready for some changes in the personal law, or would we go back to a situation like Shah Banu in the 1980s if an attempt was made to in some way review or reverse Muslim personal law?
There is no doubt that the time has come that we need to reform Muslim personal law, not only Muslim personal law but also Hindu law. But what the minorities really fear is this, that this Uniform Civil Code should not be a euphemism for Hindu law. Hindu law cannot be imposed on the Muslims or the minorities in the garb of imposing a uniform civil code. There's obviously no doubt and no quarrel about the fact that the laws need to be amended and need to be brought in sync with the equality.
So specifics, for example, if there is a law, as was in the case of maintenance in the Shah Banu case, which was seen to be anti-woman in a way, would the Muslim community be ready, or would the ulemas be out on the street?
The ulema in any case would be out on the street whatever you do. So in my view, the ulema should be kept out of this. And the talks should be with the jurists in the Muslim community, with the more learned people who know the law. The ulama should perhaps restrict themselves only to religion.
But you believe that the situation is more propitious today than it was in the 1980s, when you remember what the Congress government did with the Shah Banu case?
Yeah, it certainly is. And I must also say that both these parties, the Congress as well as the BJP, neither of them is interested in reforms in personal law. The purported promise of the BJP to have a uniform civil code as well as the Congress's opposition, both are simply farce, because both parties, and I can give you examples, have taken regressive steps.
Give me one.
Today, in 2015, the Maharashtra government has introduced a Buddhist marriage bill. Buddhists till now are governed by the Hindu law. Now you want to disintegrate them and create a Buddhist marriage bill. On the one hand, you talk of uniformity in law. On the other hand, you
this is the BJP government.
The BJP government in 2015. Yes, the draft is ready.
That exactly is.
And Rajdeep, one more example. Yes. In 1976, the Special Marriages Act, which in my view is in the nature of an optional civil code, was amended by the Congress government to include special provisions for Hindus. These are all regressive enactments, and you talk about uniform civil code here.
Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Sambit Patra, Saif Mahmood is putting it brilliantly today. He's exposing both of you and this farcical debate that we've had in this country on uniform civil code. The BJP has used it to strengthen its Hindutva agenda, and the Congress has used it to play its minority politics. And the reality is, neither of you are really interested in having a uniform personal law system that will be progressive. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Sambit Patra, 30 seconds each to respond to what Saif Mahmood has said, the expose in a way of your double standards. First you, Dr. Singhvi.
The Congress stand is clear. We have been unsuccessful because of that stand. The stand is that we will not do anything unless we feel that there is an all-party consensus and a large, palpable consensus in the country. Now that has been missing both from our regimes, but it is much more so missing now since the last 18 months. We are not certainly going to ram it down or force it down. It requires a consensus which has eluded this country for a long time. Now I believe that yes, there have been regressive moments in this whole movement. I believe that there are secular elements of various laws which can be picked up without much problem and put into a code which where you don't debate the religious ritualistic parts. But unfortunately today the climate for some time has been such that even when you pick up a purely secular element, I believe for example that the maintenance element could be largely one such element.
Sir, you backed off in the 1980s. You backed off in 1980s. You know what happened with the Shah Banu judgment. You backed out. I will give Sambit Patra for the last 30 seconds.
We are now talking.
Sir.
We are now talking.
I'm running out of time.
We are now talking 2015.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
2015 is 20 years away from 1990. Today when the Supreme Court exhorts, I ask one question. With what face, with what moral authority, with what tools will the government of the day, which alone has to do it through the Supreme Court, and to answer the Supreme Court, with what moral authority are they even going to initiate the process of a consensus?
Okay, you made that point without answering my question of what went wrong in the 80s, but I will give 30 seconds to Sambit Patra, and please stick to 30 seconds, Sambit. The fact is the BJP puts these things in the manifesto. You don't have either the moral authority or the political authority to actually push through a uniform civil code.
Or is there a draft? Does anybody have a draft?
You don't have a draft also. You put it in manifesto, you don't have a draft.
You want to give me 30 seconds, but you all are speaking for half an hour. 30 seconds. Number one, as far as the uniform civil code is concerned, the biggest problem with uniform civil code is most of the people make it a secular communal issue. No, it is not a secular communal issue. It is an issue of social reforms, as has been put by Baba Sahib Ambedkar himself in the Constituent Assembly.
Sir, all those are fine words. You don't even have a draft. Saif Mahmood says you don't even have a draft. You put it in your manifesto without a draft. It's your attempt to push your agenda.
There are pseudo-seculars who want everything in this universe to change within this 1 year. Where were all these pseudo-seculars when the country was being ruled for 65 years?
Okay.
We will show you the draft, Baba. Don't worry.
Okay, I look forward to it. I look forward to it. I look forward to that right time. I look forward to the right time. I'm leaving it there. I look forward to the right time when the BJP comes up with a draft and the Congress tells me which is the appropriate time that they actually believe a consensus can be created. Saif Mahmood, Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Sambit Patra, I appreciate your joining us on our Face Off tonight. Let's turn to the other big story, because coming up next, the Sahitya Akademi revolt is escalating. Number of writers returning the award now nears 30. We'll be...